Greetings, King.
Positive energy in.
Positive energy as always, man. What's new today?
Oh, what's news? Another dawn. Let the dawn and nice weather, nice atmosphere. Tell us what's new. That's part of our
Be
topic this evening.
Beyond Thought
Young thought.
live
All right.
session, part six.
6.
Six, King, six.
6.
Not
Meditation.
knocking them out the ballpark.
We got a few more left.
Absolutely. So, one of the first things we're gonna focus on today out of the book is meditation, right? When the mind is silent, inner peace takes place. Talk to us about that.
Oh, this meditation is big, it's huge. It's whenever you want to apply anything to silence, it's immeasurable. Can silence be measured? No, it can't be measured. But thought tries to measure silence because thought interferes with silence, and noise interferes with silence, sound interferes with silence. Everybody talks about meditation, but few people talk about sound, you know. And when the mind is silent, inner peace takes place because there's no interference from sound or thought. I mean, things try to interfere, but when you really get in deep with it, it's the universe speaking to you, and you're giving correct attention to the universe. We've misconstrued this meditation thing. It's almost like the word love and friend. It's been so abused, so leisurely carried or thrown around. Hey, that's my friend. Hey, I love you. Let's go meditate. You know, love, friend, and meditation is just much more. Much it's much deeper than a word. It's an action. It's a paying attention to what brought you here and the existence of everything else. So um, there are many forms of meditation, like medication. There's medication that will take away your pain. There's medication that will put you to sleep so someone can operate on you. There's medication that will keep a disease at bay. And just like meditation, people use meditation like a lot of boxers. Muhammad Ali, when he came into his zone, it was just him and his talent. Kobe Bryant, all the great ones. It comes to where down to that last play and the last down and the last moment. And great tennis players like Serena Williams, they get into that zone. It's a meditative zone. And then you have a meditation to where people say, well, let me meditate on it. They apply it to thinking. But the meditation the book is referring to is the meditation that eliminated my hurt and depression, that eliminated uh, my problems. My biggest problem was Rich Lamar. I tried to blame everybody else. Oh, it's his fault. Oh, it's my parents' fault. Oh, it's this fault. But meditation told me it was my fault. Now, other things had their factors, but if meditation can eliminate my hurt and depression and disease, that's why I wrote the book. And to do it for somebody else because I'm the world just like everybody else. But it's just so deep, the mind has to be clear. So in the book, I put it in the book because the actual action of meditation is what actually cured my uh, disease psychologically, biologically, and spiritually because it eliminated all the interference. And I was just one with what brought me here and what brought everything else here.
So we got a question for you. Someone has a question for you. I don't know if you can look at the screen and see it.
I
It
can't
says,
see
"Is
it.
the mind ever silent, or is meditation focusing on just one thing?"
Wait, say that again.
Keiko asks, "Is the mind ever silent, or is meditation focusing on one thing?"
Oh, good question, Keiko. Um, when the mind is silent, it's like what Jermaine first read from the book. When the mind is silent, the meditation that heals takes place. Now, to answer Keiko's question, it could get complex, but um, thought is always thinking. So if thought is always thinking, Keiko, then thought is a controller. So thought is always thinking, trying to control all things, not some things, not a thing, but all things. That's why man goes under the sea. He puts concrete on the earth. He builds buildings. He does all these things and creates more and more complication. This is all thought. But when you're trying to be silent, you know, you're starting off at the wrong track because when you put try in there, there's no meditation in try because it takes thought to try to be silent. But when you're being still, when you heard the word be still, when you're being still, you're in a state of attending nature or attending, uh, just watching and listening and giving correct attention to something is being still. You're just watching, letting what you're watching tell you what's going on. In my case, I meditate. I not try in the terms of method, but I look at nature, or I just close my eyes if I'm not around nature, and I just watch the birds and the trees and the breeze. It's a very deep thing, and then awareness comes along and eliminates the interference of thought, and I'm just watching what the nature is showing me and telling me. It's a very deep and complex thing, but when you're watching and letting what you're watching speak to you instead of you trying to interpret it, true meditation is taking place because there's no thought involved trying to manage that perception. So when silence comes, thought is no longer trying to manage silence. And so that's when the mind is silent. The mind, not just your thought, not just your brain, but the mind, which is your senses, your sight, your smell, your touch, your taste, your glands, your spirit, heart, and soul. This makes up the total mind. And in the action of those senses, there's no thought. We put thought in our senses because of sight. That's why sight is the only sense that only has sight. Sight is the only sense that only has sight. So thought tries to manage that. Smell doesn't have sight. Taste doesn't have sight. Touch doesn't have sight. So when a blind person is touching and smelling something, they're closer to a meditative state. I noticed that when I met Stevie Wonder. It's they're in a meditative state because their senses are are in action better than ours because of people in sight.
Is a higher peak to
Yes.
everything that they encounter and do, right?
Yeah.
Um, I need you to expound upon the difference between meditation and prayer and why meditation is not prayer.
Oh, because meditation is like, it's like Keiko's question. Meditation, and when it eliminates uh, something negative in you, it's it's letting the universe speak to you. So you're giving attention. You're listening to the universe. In prayer, desire is involved because you're praying for help. You're praying for something to. You're praying for something to change. You're praying because that involves desire, and people can pray. There's a sense of meditation in prayer because you can really get locked into prayer and locked into what you really want. I mean, people say the law of attraction, and the law of attraction is in prayer, and people can think themselves into something or out of something. Prayer is almost a form of it is a form of hypnosis when you're really into praying and into what you're looking to change.
If I might add to that, just pay attention to the word pray. What does a lion do when he is hunting? He stalks his prey. That animal he's hunting for his tribe is his prey. So we have to work on the words we use because every word has a different form of energy. And it's psychologically different because what people fail to understand is that negativity holds more power than positive, sincerely speaking. So you stating, oh, I don't like this job, I don't want to be here, or whatever, holds more weight than you actually being positive. And that's something I've learned through personal experience. And Rich, you may not agree, but studies has actually shown this. So for you or whoever is watching that don't believe what I'm stating, just go ahead and research somebody else's research and call it research and move from there. But continue, King. I just wanted to implement that piece.
No, but that's a good point because that is the interference of thought. What Jermaine just explained, see, thought, it doesn't mean that thought is a bad action. It doesn't mean that thought is against us. But thought is a sly controller. Thought is not necessarily against us. Thought has its place. We need thought to recall, to remember. But that is thought's place. But when you put thought in the place of something that's unlimited, like meditation, see, prayer comes from thought because without thought, you would have nothing to pray for. If but in meditation ends fear. Thought increases fear. Meditation negates thought, therefore it negates fear, psychological disease, biological disease.
You could
It's
break that down in a different way too, because all this praying is a form of attachment
yes,
as well. Okay.
yes, and see where there's thought, you have to be very careful. Thought is like thought is like fire. Now we fire is very useful, but no matter how small the flame, it can destroy a whole forest. And you know, the only way someone can enter over and understand this is through meditation.
So what are the differences? Um, Pure observation. And what is attention without thought?
Yeah. those of you who's listening, outside of Keiko, you can try this every day. Now, when I was when my psychological, spiritual, and biological disease was eliminated, and you can do this uh, as you go through your day. I started. My attention was better at everything. I noticed the ant on the ground, even in a busy street. I noticed the dandelion coming through the concrete, which everybody knows this, sees this every day. The voices I was hearing was beyond thought. It was a silence. I was communicating with nature. Doesn't communicate with words. That's why we got to be very careful with words. When you see the smell, the air, and the clouds change, it tells you rain is coming. When you see the flowers and trees bud, it shows you spring is coming. Nature doesn't communicate in words. It communicates with our senses. That's why, I used to see, and if you watch blind people in church and everybody's is dancing, and the blind person starts dancing and jumping around, and he's not running into anything. That is the power of the senses in touch with meditation, how it can speak to you. That's why we have senses, because sight is necessary, but we can get along without sight. There was a woman named Helen Keller who had no sight and no hearing, and wound up being a doctor and doing all these great things inside the book. She wound up being an author and everything because she had someone that that brought her into attention of all her senses that was left. It's like a wolf. Some of these wolves and coyotes have the senses in deep snow, and they feel the snow, and they'll dive under the snow and come up with their prey. And they, I mean, how do they know it's there? And an eagle can come down from hundreds of feet and grab a fish. And you watch if you have pets, anybody who has pets, especially cats, watch the senses of a cat. The cat will. There's no better pet in the house than a cat because the cat will let you know the vibration of the room just by his senses. Anything that's foreign in that room, the cat will find it, from a roach to a spider to a scorpion to anything. And I think that's why the Egyptians they have these things of cats in some of their hieroglyphics.
The symbologies.
Yeah, yeah. So the meditation is great for. That's why, as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing better for the senses than meditation, because meditation is the only time we're using that allows us to use all our senses.
So
And
like your book said, within the nature of nature you discover the beauty of watching the great silence.
yeah, and
This is
that's
an
the
awareness.
yeah, that's the awareness. There's no better action to have day by day than awareness, because in that awareness, that awareness negates thought, and the mind will be silent. And the mind can only be silent when awareness is there.
Speak on the universe being harmonious with the wholeness of love, true freedom, and peace, but not self.
Oh yeah, just watch a mother. Well, you got two boys, Jermaine, and we was online last night. I don't know if Keiko's still there, and Keiko was there. Now, I remember watching the live again because I can't see everything when I'm talking. But when I watched it again, I seen your boys, and Nikki was there. When a mother is taking care of her children, she's not thinking about herself. I mean, there's some mothers that do. I'm talking about a good mother. I'm not talking about the other mother. That's why in meditation you can meditation to show you what's wrong with these religious books that say honor your parents and long life is there no matter what. No, what if your parents is not honorable? But when you have a honorable parent, a parent that's taking care of her boys or her daughters, she's not thinking of herself. This is the meditation, the movement of meditation, and and women have that essence. Men is great at what they do, but women are greater because a woman will take care of the man and the children and not think of herself.
She put herself last. I've witnessed this countless times, King. So you're 100% accurate on that one.
And that's what meditation does. That's why it's one with love, truth, freedom, and peace. They all have the same address. They all occupy the same space. When you see one, the other is present. Where you can really be free, love is there. When you really with the truth, peace is there. You know, one never shows up without the other one. Unlike thought. Now, when thought's there, thought is very sly because when thought is there, that means time is there. But when love is there, love is timeless. So look at the action of these things. Look at the action of freedom. Where freedom is, the action of truth is there. The action of love is there. That mother is not thinking of herself. That mother will make food for the husband, the children, and the guests, and she will eat last if she eats at all.
100% accurate, King. 100% accurate.
So men, we can learn from this from a woman, but we can't. It's not the woman just has it naturally. This is the essence of her, uh, because that's the essence of a woman. She's a nurturer. So and nourishment is there. Wherever there's a woman, there's nourishment there, unless that woman has been tainted or been affected.
Or not within her balance, not within
Right,
her truth.
right, exactly. So meditation is very important because it's the correct approach to order and disorder.
Can you expound more upon our vibrations, seeing the smelling, the touching, the talking, and so on?
Yeah, anybody who's an artist out there, whoever wrote a song or played an instrument or wrote lyrics or rap, your sense, the incredible thing about being an artist, whether you're a painter or a rapper or a musician, it involves all the senses without you realizing it. And if you ever done it on stage, it's a whole nother thing. I mean, you can really write a great song, and when you go on stage and perform it, something else happens. You'd be like, man, it took me 2 weeks to finish that project, or maybe even a month. And then when you go on stage, you create something in that immediately, or in that energy that makes the thing even better. And it's a form of meditation when you're an artist, when you're painting, when you're writing a lyric, or a form of meditation takes place. That means thought is eliminated and you're one. And I'm sure you can relate to this, Jermaine, because you're a rapper. So it's like you become one with the lyric. Now thought can help. Thought can come back and polish that lyric. But when you're in the zone, so to speak, or you meditation is taking place, you just boom, this stuff is just boom, boom, boom coming, right?
Yeah, it's like it's a natural frequency. It's it's crazy too because like within creating, you may have a certain lyric within yourself, and it's just flowing within yourself, right? Without you even thinking or applying thought to it. And as soon as you start thinking, like, oh, I'm gonna put this on
Right,
paper,
right.
it doesn't come out the way you were flowing with it. So you
Exactly.
lose that correct attention and awareness of that lyric. So now you got little pieces of it and you write down the little pieces, but you be like, oh man, what's that line again? Because you were on that frequency.
Exactly. And and when you're in that positive energy, things come, it flows. And I had people ask me, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I mentioned it last night kind of briefly, but people said, "Oh, I seen you on the live, that guy Jermaine." I said, "Yeah, yeah, that's my brother." He's like, "Well, what's the next topic?" He said, "How do you guys come up with your topics?" I mean, they actually, and you might have experienced this too, Jermaine. They actually thought that we had wrote a script, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is all organic, man. We're just flowing. And that's the beauty when you have like-minded people that resonates on your frequency. Like we all have these people in our day to day, but if we're clouded and attached to these thoughts, we won't see the signs. It could be somebody that's bumping into you, or you bump into them and they drop their paper, or somebody you walk by. There's a different type of energy. That frequency is different. You could just see somebody. That's why certain people or females will say, "Hey, it was love at first sight," because they're in alignment. They're on source. You know what I mean? They're on that same frequency. That's what it is. That's the beauty of it.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing because positive energy flows that way, and creativity flows that way. I said some of the topics we came up during another live.
Yeah, within the live.
Right?
Within the live.
And we just be talking, and that's the beauty of being in the positive energy is never static, it's moving.
You can't teach that. And that's what separates some from the rest. Because there's things within this universe you cannot teach. And even if you do attempt to teach it, it will never flow the same way like that lyric versus you not thinking of that lyric versus that instrumental telling you what to format for the song. It's totally different. And that's what separates people from others. Period.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people, they have it and they just get conditioned right out of it. But the people that know, I mean, people, it's like a great fighter. I mean, I've come up in the entertainment business. I'm not saying I was big and famous and rich at one time, but I was well off at one time. uh, and not that I'm not well off now, but it's just you being in Vegas and moving around in music. You could be in a bar with three people one night, and then you could be performing for these high executives the next night at the top of the MGM. It entertainment puts you into everything, from the streets to the most glamorous. But I met a lot of famous people, a lot of older famous people, like a long time ago, Jackie Gleason. He had this show called The Honeymooners, one of the first sitcoms back in the 50s. And he hated rehearsing, and a person who used to be friends with him told me that he would only do one or two takes, and then if it didn't do it, they would do something else. And I know great musicians who would practice a song one time. They didn't want to do it two or three. They'd be, and their reason for doing that is they said, well, if we keep practicing and practicing and doing it, we'll lose the spirit of it. And that's what Jermaine was referring to. You will lose the spirit of it. You start thinking the song will write itself if you don't try to think it through.
And another
Try to
thing,
force it.
I'm gonna correct Rich on this. I mean, I can't say I'm gonna need people to stop doing it because it's difficult to convert from your left if you've been using it for years to come to your right. Um, People need to stop making these metaphorical um, s- speeches out loud, stating that at one point I was well off, I was rich. If you're flowing with the universe, you have every and any single thing you desire is within you. You're already bountiful. You already have the abundance within you. You are the richest man. And I'm not talking about legal tender or physical money. Flowing with the universe allows you to tap into multiple forms of resources. You see it all around you, and it's free. It's at your very whim. Utilize it. You got sight. You stare at the sun. You have touch. Hug a tree. You have hearing. The birds chirp. You can hear a cricket. Observe the blade of grass. See how the water repels off of it. Watch how the earth nourishes itself. Like, that's wealth and riches within itself. And over time, once we notice this, everything that's externalized will start coming to you because you're not chasing it. That's all I wanted to say.
Well, you said a lot, and actually, he jumped ahead to part eight. you know, when me and Jermaine click like that, I mean, we flow like that. It's like that's part eight. When I get into the chapters of beyond thought and in the present now, you know, I don't follow religion, but I do say the word God so people can relate to it. I don't follow the self, but I say the word self. And like later on in the book, I talk about health, not the health of eating right, but the health of what Jermaine just explained. The health of seeing that you're okay in the now. And it relates to meditation because meditation, you can only meditate in the present now. And the present now, everybody is wealthy and okay. Health is wealth, but I would say the word God so people could just a reference one. I don't really believe in God. And let me clarify that real quick. I don't believe in like a God, a man up there where people refer to him. I prayed to God and he did this. I don't I don't follow that. I don't follow that there's some guy up there because it's always referred to him as a him. I just say God in reference to that. In meditation, I don't mention God. I mention prayer in my book about that, but I say meditation is not prayer because prayer is a form of hypnosis, and God and organized religion is all in there. So I'm saying meditation is it is is something that is immeasurable. When I God to me is an existence that's immeasurable. It's a wholly immeasurable because the word holy comes from whole, and so it's everything. So uh, I don't believe in belief. So I don't believe in belief or a God. But I'm saying that there's an existence out there that's immeasurable. Because as soon as I put a name on God, it limits him. Something immeasurable, you can't put a name on it because it's unlimited. As soon as you name something, you limit it. It's like in meditation, if you're looking at a tree and you say, okay, that's a tree, instantly you're limiting your observation because Jermaine is his name. But if you get to know Jermaine, if you spend time with Jermaine, you find out he's much more than a name. He's beyond a name. Or Keiko, you start talking to Keiko, you see that she's beyond a name. Names limit things. That's what I mean by the slyness of thought. Thought is so sly to get to control everything that you see. It wants to name everything that you see.
So speak on this too, because you also mentioned this. To sit there and conjure a formation and focus on one actual point within meditation, your breathing, your hand signs, you sitting in the lotus position, and so on and so forth. It's being
Right.
controlled by thought.
Right.
So how is that really meditation?
I mean, you asked the question and you answered it. Jermaine does that a lot. He's like, I mean, he's absolutely correct. I mean, how can that be meditation when you're directing everything? Meditation is when you're attending,
And it's
when
a
you're,
freedom of
yes,
authority and fear,
yes,
right? It's
yes,
holistic.
yes, yes. So you're attending. I mean, if somebody invited you to a beautiful event, are you going to go in there and try to direct it?
No, you're gonna enjoy the event.
Yes.
And then you're gonna go back and brag about the event. Like, man, it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever witnessed. Like, yeah.
That's meditation. You're attending what brought you here. That is the universe. We come through our parents, but we come from the universe. That's why, Jermaine, when your boys start really, really getting evolving more, and that they're getting taller, and their minds are starting to really evolve, a child can become wiser than the parent because he's come through the parent, but it's from the universe. And a lot of parents don't want to accept this.
Why? Because we put limitations on ourselves. We're always
Right.
thinking, we're always in our heads. You know, we're always trying to control things.
Yeah.
There's a difference between controlling and flowing.
And it can start at a very early age. I mean, if you really watch young children and you see that the parent is pulling them, I mean, when they're old enough to walk and know different from right and wrong, and you see the parents pulling them in the supermarket, and the kid is like, oh my, wow, my mother or my father is just so unaware of what's going on right now.
Some just sit there and let them drag them. Like, I enjoy the free ride.
I mean, you see the look on the kid's face, like, man, only if my parent will pay attention to me the correct way, right? I mean, like I said, I've been in rooms with people have kids, and we're doing something in the room, and the kid is crying in the other room, and they just say, "Shut up!" They don't even go see what's wrong with the kid. Shut up and go to sleep. Did you do your homework? Shut up and go to sleep. And that's part of the conditioning that separates a child from meditation and getting into themselves. They change that form of meditation. Everybody's born with a natural form of meditation where thought is not involved, but we can get conditioned out of it.
That's
That's
why I
what they
keep
do in
saying.
kindergarten.
So I keep saying the first form of programmers are us, the parent.
Yeah. And
Period.
it's a terrible thing because the kid will show you how to, not how, but the kid will, you can see in a kid he's meditating.
And
But
the crazy thing about that is, as adults, we do the same thing because we always trying to instill
yeah,
our experience on someone else versus giving them the opportunity to filter our experience and utilize what they want, you know and that's what it is. As adults, we do that a lot, and that's how we have disconnects, and the right and the wrong comes into play because it's, oh, you're not doing it like me. It was kind of like that part last night on the live when Nikki said, I don't beat to his drum. And what did I do? I said, how do you know it's my drum? And then you said you were thinking the same thing, and Lone with Keiko, like, why must it be, your drum? Like, yeah, we do that a lot.
yeah. And that's why meditation, I'm telling the people that's listening, and the book is saying meditation solves everything. Not a thing, not some things. Now that's a you can't make a bigger statement than something that's solving everything. You can't make a bigger, uh, a larger statement than that. But we're so back to the child again. If you take this natural ability from the child, his his communication or her communication with the universe, when a child is unhappy, that meditation flips, you know. And what does that mean? That means instead of attending what the universe is telling the child, his actual parent, the child gets conditioned out of it. Why don't mom come see about me? Why don't dad come see about me? I'm in here crying and they just told me to shut up and get ready for school. They'll create an illusion. They'll create an imaginary friend that take the place of that meditation. A lot of these children that has imaginary friends, there's something wrong with the child relationship with the parent. This is what I mean by meditation solves and shows everything.
You got to be specific too, because we think um meditation again is sitting in a lotus position and focusing on the breathing and so on and so on. But you can meditate driving down the street. Turn the music off. Be still. Have you ever stopped at a light and you go blank, and without control, it's like the light changed precisely and you just start driving, and then when you start thinking about it, you be like, how the hell did everything sync up so blissfully? So we tap into these things unconsciously, and we don't focus on the awareness of it. We just put it in the back of our minds like it's nothing. Why
Yeah,
is that?
because it is us. And I always tell people, well, how you know that you can help people? I said, because I am the world. The world thinks and doubts just like me. Now, there's different categories and there's different conditioning and upbringing, but we all, I don't care if you're born in Germany or Hawaii or South America, we all have a common sense to love, observe, learn, protect, and survive. It's different ways we do that, but deep down inside, we all need love. It sounds corny and poetic, but deep down inside, we are a walking example of some people have more love than others. Some people are more in touch with the untouchable than others. That's all it is. But I'm no smarter, I'm no better than anybody else. Now, if we had four heads and three legs, that'd be a different story. But we all have two arms, you know. Some people are richer than others in terms of money, but that doesn't mean anything
It's
because
crazy.
we all live and die.
It's crazy because I was thinking the same thing. Like you can be smarter. It goes back to the point I made earlier. You can be smarter than me, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you can be happier than me. There's nothing wrong with that. But guess what? There's only one me minus our connections. And what I do, you can't imitate it, and vice versa, no matter how we try.
Right. So that means,
Okay.
so Jermaine just explained that we're all unique. We're all an important piece of the puzzle to flow together.
But peep
The-
this. Peep this though. Because they have that smart or they might have that money, they feel like they should have what I have. But what I have is the unteachable. And education and money can't get you that because that's a part of me. That's my connection to the universe.
yeah, and meditation, um, meditation shows and tells this because the explanation is not the explained. You know, Thought is the explanation. The explained is the movement of positive energy. It's like the only way somebody is smarter than another is if only if there's a path involved. Now, if you watch the eagle can see a storm coming and fly over the storm. The beaver can chop down a tree, and the beaver is an engineer and make these powerful dams. The eagle can fly hundreds of feet up and go down and grab a fish without breaking a stride. But if you create a path for both of these to be on, see, that's why we got to be very careful with this smarter and this is I'm not. Only if there's a path involved. But if you let people do what they do, this is the problem with white supremacy. They want everybody according to how they see it. And so that creates war, crimes, and all kind of murders because everybody is crying to get out, to be free, to be themselves and do what they want. There's nothing wrong with a job, but most people jobs is just what they do, is not who they are. Now, if you let somebody have a job at who they are and what they love to do, there'd be no problem getting up in the morning. And white supremacy, it we have the money, we have the routine, we have this, follow this. That's the worst thing you can do because now there's no freedom. This is
Come every
why this
come
is
every
why
Sunday.
it's like you do this and this routine. That's not me. I can't,
Li-
I can't, you can't put me on that path because you're going to create, this is, but it's okay to the person who makes the rules because it's like, we're okay. Just, be a man. Don't be lazy. Oh, no. Just according to you. This is why Indian supremacy or Jewish supremacy is just as bad as white supremacy. A person must be free to see, but
Correct attention.
that's what it is. That is meditation. It's like Jermaine said earlier. Oh, let me sit like this. Like when I put it in the book, you have to use thought to say when you have to sit in a certain position, and that doesn't mean that meditation is not going to show you anything. I'm just saying it's not going to eliminate anything. It's like going to church screaming on Sunday and you wake up with the same problem on Monday.
But why can't you go to church on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday? Why must it be only Sunday? It's
That's the path.
we're not knocking what you're doing. Just do you and understand what it is. Understand your programming. Understand like a person that does the same thing over and over and over again is dead. Make that make sense to you. You're not
That's
learning anything new. You're not seeing. So might as well you close your eyes and shut your ears down and yeah, there's nothing further for you to see.
the terrible thing about a path. It's like thought. Where there's thoughts and ideas, there's a path. Not that a path has its place. Thought has its place, but it has no place in eliminating something spiritually, psychologically, and biologically in a human being. Most people ignore this because they're not in a. I was in a state to where either I was living or dying the next minute. When you're in that state, you have to pay attention to something. Most people are getting along with their lives. They don't have to look at life that deeply because they're happy with their job and their money and their own backyard. But if you're a compassionate person, if you're a responsible person, you care about the world. If your response to the world is not your just your backyard, is how they're doing in Africa also. And you don't want starvation anywhere if you're a responsible person. So your response is for the world, it's not for just your backyard. So if my response is wrong, I'm irresponsible. Meditation says you're responsible. You are the world. You're responsible for fellowship. You can't save the world by yourself, but you're responsible for your talents to. I mean, if you see Michael Jackson and Muhammad Ali, some of these artists who was loved worldwide, oh, my talent can save a lot of people. See, if you just be you, That one person mind who you change could reach, might have the talent to reach more people than you. Behind every genius, there's a silent mentor that nobody even knows about, you know, and that's what meditation does. That's why there's no such thing as time when you're in this flowing. There's no, it's timeless flowing. It's flowing timeless. Path creates time.
Um, I'm sorry, man. Like it's funny you're talking about meditation, and for a second, I spaced out, and it's funny. But what's unique about this? I was listening to my heartbeat, and I can hear it within my ears this whole time. Like when you go back and watch this video, pay attention to my actions. How I wasn't moving. Like, yeah, I was like, how many people can sit in a still spot and say they hear their heartbeat through their ear?
You know,
And I was gonna put something like, oh, that's so weird, but it's a part of the natural action, because I was really focusing on hearing you without hearing you. So you were talking to my subconscious versus to my mind. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, whoa, that's my heartbeat. And I'm still hearing you, but your voice wasn't louder than my heartbeat.
that's what I mentioned in the book in meditation. That goes back to the Keiko's question, how thought starts to fade away and what you're listening to starts to fade away. Interference starts to fade away. You feel me? And see, people think, oh, let me meditate.
That was
People think
amazing.
that people think that, oh, let me go meditate and do this. Let me go, like they can control it. When it comes to meditation that I speak of in the book, that's without thought. It touches you. You don't touch it. You can't schedule it. You can't schedule it. It's the same thing that happened to Jermaine. I mean, you could be in a car and where you're going. Of course, you know where you're going, and awareness is at work when you're at the car because you got to watch your mirrors, and it's a good thing. Would you ever be in a car and see somebody at a red light? And we tend to look around because awareness is watch your awareness when you're driving because awareness is at work. Will you ever be at a stoplight and you look over to the other car and you see them and you see somebody daydreaming and you wonder why, oh, is this person gonna run into me? And they're really daydreaming and you wonder if they're gonna notice the light changing or anything. It touches you.
I do
You
you
can't.
one better. I'm gonna do you one better. Have you ever been driving and you put your indicator to go on and your subconscious says stay still? And as
Yes,
soon as you stay within 5 seconds of that action, a car fly past you. But that car was not in your peripheral. It was not in your mirrors.
yeah.
That happens to me a lot. Following that flow by a second. Perfect example too. It's kind of like on January 4th of 2019, I got into a wreck. I was in the fast lane and it was raining. People tend to speed up when it's raining in Georgia. I don't know why, but when I said the traffic was bumper to bumper, and when I got hit out of the fast lane and my car spun out, right? There was no vehicle behind me, beside me, and I spun out into the grass.
Mm,
What was that? I My mind showed me that there were vehicles directly on the path of me, beside me, and in front of me. What happened when I got hit that separated me from those vehicles being that close to not being there at all. How do you explain that?
I explain that in the book where, in one statement, you are never alone.
But we think we're alone.
Right.
We think we're alone.
Yeah, that's why you don't want thought and meditation. You don't want thinking involved with this existence that is with us, where you can make the statement that you're never alone. I can say that you're never alone because that existence is what eliminated my depression and diseases. I mean, you watch these videos on YouTube and the truck runs over them and they flip around and they get up and walk away. You've seen instances where a mother is watching her son fix a flat and he goes under the car and the jack moves and the mother grabs the car and he slides under. Where did that strength come from?
That's why I like the thought we and us. It's something to look at because we have all these moving parts, and these moving parts within us is not being controlled by thought. They're flowing, right? They're flowing within themselves. But you and them are one. So how can you just label it as I, me, making it singular versus plural? Your cells are alive. You have over 36.7 over billion cells within your body. So how can you just say I, me? It's us. We are moving, we are flowing. Food for thought.
And
Continue,
that
King.
that is meditation. Meditation is like this. People say, "Well, how did you heal yourself? I remember you was really messed up, Rich." It's not a matter of how. See, this flowing, it touches you. You can't touch it. It's like sitting on the side of the road. I mean, has anybody ever been? We have all been stranded here and there. But let's just say you're on the road and you're stranded. I mean, you're walking to the gas station. You know it's miles down the road, but you have to do it because you want to do this before it gets dark and all the other things. And all of a sudden, somebody drives up and helps you. This is what this never alone is. It's with us from. This is where we come from. This is why the child is close to it. This is why the worst thing you can do to a child is take it off the mother's breast too soon and start telling it what to do, the hows and the must and the must nots, because you're separating it from the universe. The child is a whole new generation that can show you something. This is why most children is rebellious at 13, 14 years old. They like the ones that's in touch. They's like, oh man, these older people, man, they don't know what's up, man. I feel this energy, blah blah. Hey, get to school, get to the military, get your homework, get to college, and you got to be married by your 30, 30. Your life is gonna be all messed up if you don't get your insurance together. And you know, it's like, oh, you don't know. I'm a new generation that can show you a whole to get you out of all of this stuff that you're in. But we're so programmed to follow this routine.
But the new generation is kicking ass on that now too. And what do we say? Oh, they don't listen.
Right.
Oh, they're chaotic. They're vulgar. They're this. We're judging them as if to say we're greater than them. And no, we're not. Because when we were in our prime, I'm talking like I'm talking like I'm old,
Yeah,
whatever.
go
But
ahead. Go ahead, Elder.
yeah, when we were younger, we did chaotic things too. We never listened to our parents. But why is it as we grow into adulthood, we stop seeing these things? We miss the righteousness.
Yeah, because that's the conditioning. That's you know, it's like the kid is free. That's why I like growing up in the era I grew up in because I was making more money than my father in some of the things I did musically. You know, and and parent, society is so do this and do that. If you want a nice household and you want a good wife, do this. Like it's a path to it. And you look at the people that's married and they're miserable. You, I've been married. People say I've been married 40 years. That doesn't mean they're happy. That doesn't mean nobody ever cheated. And you know, I know married couples that don't even sleep in the same room for years. You
Why is
know,
that? Because they have lost the flowing that they had in the beginning. They're no longer on the same source energy. They have drift off, conditions, put things within them, and they've created conditions that's not there. You know
yes,
how powerful it is to be negative? And the crazy thing about it, the universe is going to grant it to you because it it don't look at right or wrong. It don't look at how it's portraying these things. It doesn't dress it up. It give it to you in its rawest form. Oh, that's what you keep attracting to you? Let me give it. Here's some more. Here's some more. Keep getting it. Keep at it. Here's an abundance of it. And we like, why these things keep happening to me? Instead of changing that and say, why am I so great? Why am I so happy? Why am I so healthy? That same that same energy you use to say why things is not happening the way they are is the same energy you need to use to say why am I so happy and why am I laughing all the time? Why am I so caring to other people? These are things I do into my day to day.
and you can only see this. You can only see this in awareness that meditation brings. See, meditation is the action of order. People say, remember, people used to tell me, you need to get in order. I said, what's the action of order? Get a job, get a wife, get a, you know, go to school. But meditation says, I'm the energy that brought you here. Your parents didn't sit down and say, okay, let's make Keiko now, let's make Jermaine now. They didn't know how you was going to look, how tall you were going to be, and none of that. The universe knew all of this before you came into this existence. But as soon as we're born, we get conditioned right out of that relationship. Meditation is that relationship, but you you must listen to it. You can't dictate to it. You can't be like, I'm gonna sit on that rock by the sea, fold my hands, fold my legs, and see what the and see what the universe is saying. Yeah, you can do that, but it's not gonna eliminate anything. It's like
Because you're
you want to,
forcing it.
yeah, the universe is timeless. It's not on your time.
Here's an example too, Rich. Look at the germination of a seed. Does the seed force itself to become a tree? Or it just grows? Why are we the only set or race of people that think we are created versus grown? We are growing. We're germinating every single day with every single action. But we switch that from growth to create. Like we even have it in our lingo. Oh, I'm about to create this. When you speak to the universe, it grows things.
Yeah, you. That's why meditation is so immeasurable. It shows you it shows and tells you everything because it's timeless. And this is why I don't follow holidays and pay attention to my age and all of these things because I'm evolving. Death is next door to the baby, and death is next door to the person 101 years old. Tomorrow, the future is not a fact. Just ask Kobe Bryant. You know, uh,
And
and
what's hollow about your day anyway?
you're flowing, you're evolving. You don't want to put a path to that. You don't want to put a destiny or a maturity to that. Once I'm mature, I'm dead. Once I reach my destiny, what's next? This
Eh,
is why.
What's hollow? Why put hollow to your day? And what is empty about your day?
Why name anything?
Look at that. You're saying my day is empty? Come on, guys.
Every day, every dawn. When I was meditating with the dawn. I wasn't folding my hands. You know, I wasn't taking off my shoes and become naked or and just healing myself. No, no. I was just I was so bored. I was so messed up. I just start seeing this sun, and I started doing it every morning, and didn't know what was unaware that it was healing me. And it was. I was like, wow, the universe is talking to me. It was meditation. It is meditation. I see that every day is new. Excuse me. Every day is new. And then one day I was like, I feel the earth. The sun is not rising. The earth is turning because I feel it. My
The sun
senses are
doesn't
feeling
the
it.
sun doesn't the sun doesn't go to sleep. It keeps moving.
Yes. And it's just so radiant and dominant and magnificent. And I became one. I was one with it. I am one with it. The sun is, that's why I say there's no such thing as bad weather. The sun is always shining. And when I was looking into it, and I still do it to this day, it is meditation. Because meditation is order. It's the action of order. What is that order? It's flowing without fear. It's flowing without thought controlling you. When the I was My depression and disease was eliminated because the controller was eliminated. I uncovered the reason of my ignorance, the cause of my disease. And when the controller is no longer in control, meditation eliminated all the negativity. It touched me. I didn't touch it. You can't GPS the truth. If we could GPS meditation, everybody be there. That's why people hold your arms like this. We're going to have a group meditation. I mean, that's all fine. But when it comes to eliminating, I mean, some people are just in a rut. They know they're intelligent. They know their ideas of what they feel is correct, but they're just in this rut because they think it's a path that eliminates it.
They go crazy, especially like when I be telling people like, yeah, I be stuck on what's a fact, and I'm like, opinions can be facts. You hear it more than once, it can become a fact. They're like,
Yes,
no, that's not what it is. A fact is something that can be proven. I'm like, yeah, you can prove an opinion too if you keep listening to it, you keep hearing it over and over. Like this whole thing, this whole society we live in is made up of opinions.
and that's the sly thing of thought. Thought be like, well, that's my opinion, and that's yours. Opinions means absolutely nothing in meditation. Meditation is the action of common sense.
And
It
truth.
Yeah, it's to show you, it'll show you what's wrong with the Bible, what's wrong with a path, and what's wrong with an opinion. It'll show you what a fact actually is. A fact is Meditation says a fact is just something that's happened and happening. It doesn't have to necessarily be true.
But they will run you down. No, that's not what it is. This is what the book said. This is what Google, and this is what this is. Like,
Right,
man,
right, right,
shut the hell up
right,
and go to
right,
sleep. Reset your energy.
right. You know, you can't put there's no path to you can't if we could GPS fixing our problems, nobody would have problems.
But peep the dumb shit too, right? The book you're referencing is somebody else's opinion, and you make it into your truth without questioning it. Where did they get that information from? Did you come out to your mom with a book on your ass? And up to this day, they still can't explain it. That's why they create conditions to try to control it, and they still can't control it. They know how powerful that placenta is. Does your book tell you about the power? Does your book or whosoever you believe in told you that it's supposed to naturally fall off? But no, they take it and they keep it because they know if you have a cut and you put that same blood from that placenta on the cut, it heals right away because it's that powerful. Does your book tell you that? Did you come out of your mom with a religion? You came out your mom free. You had freedom. And it's funny as hell because if you pay attention to the word, they're saying you're dumb. It's free to be dumb. Is that a fact? I'm sorry. I have these mini outbursts. Go ahead, Rich.
Okay, just breathe deeply.
Woosa. Woosa. Oh man.
But see, that's the beautiful thing about meditation, because meditation sits you down, and it's like what Jermaine mentioned earlier. You could be driving, and I think in session four, when we was talking about common sense, or session three, how you're never alone. The action of meditation tells you you're never alone. Now, but you could be walking in the woods by yourself. You could be driving by yourself, but you're never alone. I would not be sitting here talking to you today with what I was going through spiritually, psychologically, and biologically if I was alone. Now, when you're depressed, the name of my book is Beyond Thought, Living Without Hurt and Depression, because when you're depressed, you're being controlled and you isolate yourself. I don't want to see the world. Forget everybody. Everybody's got problems. There's no answers out there. It's because of so and so and so and so. So you isolate yourself. Now, you think you're alone, but you're not. The light that brought me to this existence took me by the hand because I eliminated all my conditions without even being aware of it. Watching the sun and the nature every day, it totally cleared my mind, emptied my cup, where I became a useful cup because it was empty. When you're thinking all the time and planning and following a path, the cup is always full and your actions are always incomplete. That's why people say, oh man, I got through everything today. Man, I had 45 appointments, and then tomorrow you got 45 more. In meditation, it empties the cup. A useful cup is an empty cup every morning. It's not according to any path. I'm not path has their place. You know, if you're a musician or you want to practice, practice has its place and all that. But in terms of eliminating disease, spiritual clarity, you have to be you 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 must be an empty cup. You must get rid of all the interference. And meditation does that. Meditation is not a code, it's not a religion, it's not something you go to escape the misery of life and the day-to-day struggle. It's it's a quiet place to where you open yourself and listen to what the universe is saying. That's all. It could be 30 seconds, it could be 3 hours,
And it could be anywhere.
and it could be
Like,
anywhere.
have you ever been in situations where you're talking to people and out of nowhere they get up and they said, I'll be right back? I do that a lot.
Mm.
But you like, what happened? You're trying to put something to it, like, hey, what happened? But nothing really happened. It's just that there was this flow and there's something that they had to do at that particular moment. And when they come back, you be like, oh, hey, what was that about?
that's why I love this platform with Jermaine, because Jermaine gives me an opportunity to speak about this book. There's if I had if people say if you had people tell people that wrote a lot of hit records, what's your favorite song? Or people ask people who never wrote a song, if you was on an island, what album would or what track would you take with you if you had to take some music? If somebody told me what's what part of your book would you want everybody to look at, it would be meditation, because meditation meditation taps you on the shoulder. It's like sitting in a garden. A butterfly net is a big net, because the most toughest, most difficult things to do is to catch a butterfly. That's why the net is so big. But if you sit in the garden, the butterfly
Will
will
come to
catch
you.
you. Yes, it will catch you. It'll sit right on your shoulder. But we create these paths in life. So this is how you catch the butterfly. You gotta go here. You gotta be strong, aggressive, and tough. And you're a sucker if you don't go get yours. You can't be soft out there. No pain, no gain. And what are you doing? And you gotta be tough and aggressive. Yeah, if I'm about to play a football game and but that's all incomplete action, because as soon as I win the championship, I gotta turn around and win it again. Meditation is complete action, to where you do it and it's done. Once once you solve a problem, all your problems are solved. This is how deep this meditation is. There's no such thing as problems in meditation.
You know what
There's
just
no
came to mind? The one song that just came to mind. It's like um I don't remember the exact words, but it's like whoo, hoo, 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 hoo,
where he be happy.
hoo. Hey, hey, that was the most simplest song, right? But it has such a beautiful impact.
The guy that did that, McFerrin, uh he used to come through the school I was at in Boston, and he was just so natural. Never had a script. He would just go over there and sing, and he was incredible. A still incredible guy. He's like El Giro, just all this improv stuff. You can see how connected they were. But it's meditation. They'll tell you that in this meditation, it's so profound, because the reason why I'm really talking like this is because meditation solves everything. And that means it taps you on the shoulder. We have to get out of the universe way. Those of you who are listening and feel you're in a rut, you can be in a rut for 30 years, and meditation will snap you out of it in 30 seconds if the meditation is correct.
Like, hey,
Now,
you, wait, move your ass, buddy.
it's like you ever had a friend, you ever have a friend who you're trying to tell him that his woman is cheating on him, or a female have a friend tell her man is cheating, but they don't believe you, or you're jealous and they don't believe. Then one day they walk in on that person with somebody else, and instantly they change. That's what meditation does. There's no process, there's no formula, there's no method, because when you see the danger and the poison, action happens all by itself without a method. Me and Jermaine is talking right now. We're flowing, and the people that's listening is flowing with us. But if Jermaine looks down and find out that the floor is on fire, there's no method. He's not going to be like, I wonder if that fire is going to touch my feet. Instantly, he's going to separate from that fire and work on getting it solved. That's what meditation does. It opens the third eye, our eye. The eyes that we have in our head is just lenses. It's just a window. The eye that's in the pineal gland.
It's
That's
the
yes.
first eye, not the third. It's the first eye. It's your true sight. Like your heart is your true brain. Continue, King. I just wanted to correct that.
Okay. That eye, that eye is what you must refer to when it comes to seeing, because that eye is insight and foresight. That eye is meditation. When you're meditating correctly, That eye is opening. So there's no fear there. There's fear in the two eyes that we have, that we put glasses and contacts on. Oh, did you see that? See, fear is in that eye, but there's no fear in the other eye, because there's no fear in the pineal gland. That's why sight is the only sense that only has sight.
And another
It,
thing, you see these celebrities going around doing this, and you're fearing it, not knowing it's a part of you. They're like, I know something you don't. And guess what? This is symbology of the first eye, the pineal gland. And you're running around, oh, they're evil, they're this and they're that. You're out of touch. Stop creating conditions. Stop listening to other programs. Because once you listen to other programs, you become a program yourself. Like Rich like to say, you become mechanical. And what happened to mechanical things? They break down. Sickness, diseases, so on and such forth. Hey,
that's the beautiful thing about meditation, because meditation took my fear away. Not only meditation took my fear away, it took away my illness and my psychological blindness and and my diseases. And that pineal gland eye was like, hey, I've been with you the whole time. This is what happened to you, is because you was in my way. So the people that's listening, they say, well, how can, if there's no path, how can I get to it? How can I see it? If there's no path, what do I, it's so life is a matter of action. The, you never ask the question with how. You ask a question with, what action should I take? What is the action to see this? You must clear the mind from all of this conditioning that confuses everything. This is why in meditation, thought must not be in the way. It's that simple.
should I put my hands like this? Should I hold them out like this?
Right,
Should I
right.
cross
There's no
my
method.
legs? Should I focus on my breathing? What should I do? I don't know. I'm going crazy. Ah!
Yeah.
Just shut the hell up and sit or lay down.
Or look at, people say, well, I don't want to know what to do in my life. I was like, well, you know what you don't like. You know, people say, well, I say, well, define love. I can't define love. Well, look at what love is not, and look at what's left over. If you don't know what you want to be or do in life, for the people that's listening, look at what you know you don't like and what's left over. When you negate the negative, the positive is left. That's what meditation, the action of meditation is. When I negated all of this conditioning and how to eat and how to pray and how to think and how to treat a woman, and when I eliminate all the hows, I eliminated all of my disease and sickness. Because where there's cause, there is disease. That's why if anybody that's sick out there or have a, from something minute as a common cold or cancer, there's something caused that. All you have to do is eliminate the cause. Meditation showed me the cause of my ignorance. That's why meditation is so, it's imperative that it must be looked into, because it shows you the cause of your ignorance. It's like looking in the mirror and be like, hey, I didn't know that was on my nose the whole time. That's what meditation does. It really shows you from the inside out. It shows you you're never alone. And that's the action of order. So it clears the mind. It's clarity. It's the action of clarity. And so you're not controlled by fear. You're not controlled by what the eyes see, you know. But when you look at the eye, that's where meditation is. That's where you're never alone. In the eye, there's eyes and there's the eye. Now, it's like God. People call God Jesus, Allah, Jehovah. They say the third eye or the first eye or the eyes. But in meditation, it's beyond all those words. You're just being. It's all about being, not trying, not focusing, being, human being. But once we put all these words in it, see, a word is never the actual thing, person, action, place. The explanation is not the explained. This is why we get into arguments. Well, the scientists say this, and you see, that's not the definition of that word. No, when you're in meditation, the universe doesn't speak in words. You're being one. You're flowing. You see, one of the most beautiful things is to watch a wolf pack. They're not talking like humans. They're not saying, well, this is the predicate, and this is the noun, and where did you go to school? This is why I'm the head wolf because I graduated from Princeton. Wolves don't do that.
Cool minority.
If you watch a wolf pack, they walk in a straight line. It's one of the most beautiful things. The weakest ones are in the front. The most powerful ones are in the back because they can see what's ever happening to the weak ones and they can help them. This wolf pack, which is the original dog, is so intelligent and they sense it and they won't even the sister won't let the brother breed with it. They will kill the brother. The wolf pack will kill it. They keep the pride strong. This is nature. Meditation is one with nature. And this is what humanity has lost. We let words control us and all these paths. And it just leads to more confusion. It's incomplete action. It's a bunch of incomplete activity. But meditation says, sit down, relax. It's okay if you want to sit down and meditate and whatever, but let me tell you, when you can be busy and something can tap you on the shoulder and say, go sit over there. That's meditation. You have to know the difference between the voice of thought or ego and the voice of the universe, which is meditation. And that voice usually say, you know what, I'm just gonna call off today. You're not sick, or you might be walking somewhere. I'm just gonna go this way, and then all of a sudden you find out if you would have went the other way, there was like a 7 car pile up that you would have been in, or deja vu. You ever be somewhere? Hey, this happened before. I remember I walked through here. I've seen that person, right?
All the
I
time.
look. I remember this happened. We it's funny because we remember that happening before, but we don't remember when it happened, right?
See your science. Let's see your scientist explains that, buddy.
I mean, it's like going to the doctor. I tell people when the next time you go to the doctor, ask him how your laugh gland is doing. He tell you, oh, your liver, your kidneys, or your spleen, or your stomach, or your pancreas, or or we have to look at your appendix right now, or we have to look at your blood work. Okay, could you check my laugh gland?
You like messing with people, don't you?
When we laugh, this it secretes this energy in our glands. It makes us healthier.
And it uses so many muscles in the face.
Right, right,
We can't explain it, can we?
right.
It's,
That is the universe, the connection of meditation.
how come nobody ever tried to explain how the body regenerates itself? How you were once a child and now you're an adult, and how you go back into a child.
You ever try to watch you ever plant something and try to watch it grow and you'd be like, wow, I'm gonna watch this come up, and then you leave the room and go fix a sandwich or whatever
You,
you do, or fix some fish and come back and it's there.
you miss the beauty of it.
Not only you miss the beauty of it, but you can't see yourself grow. You know you're taller when you're growing up, but you don't see yourself moving and grow. You don't see the plant moving up unless you record it.
Huh.
You know, it's Meditation says there is something going on that's beyond your thoughts, and you must pay attention to it. Don't try to direct it. Just watch. And then you will enter over and understand uh, you're you're flowing with it. That the river flows with nature. The river is not jealous of the mountain. All of it's working together for good. All of it's evolving. Everything you see comes from the earth. I don't care whether it's a table or a computer. Without the resources of earth, that cannot be created. But whatever thought creates, it doesn't move. Thought can create a great ship, a great sail sailboat, but it's the earth and wind that moves it. Yeah, it can create a car, but you have to create gasoline. Whatever thought creates, it can't create anything that moves. It can't create life. So whatever thought creates, it's always has to create something else to make it move, and it's always incomplete action. Meditation is beyond thought and complete action, because once you solve the problem or a disease through meditation, it's over. It's not coming back. But thought creates medication. That's why people with high blood pressure have been on high blood pressure medication for 30 years, diabetic medication for years. It's never going to be eliminated like that.
That's a great summary. Now, tell
I
them,
had to find that song.
tell them how to get your information in your book, King.
Oh, you got the reggae version?
It's reggae.
Well, go to Rich Lamar, richlamar18.com, or Google Beyond Thought by Rich Lamar, and you can get my book through Amazon, or you email me. Amazon is the $20 book, but if you email me at richlamar18 at Yahoo, it's just $10, and you can read it on your cell phone or your computer. And if you want to discuss diet with me, I help people with cleanse. All of this is under my business called the No Stress Life. In that No Stress Life, you can purchase my book, or I can help you with a 30-day, it's a 90-day cleanse of veggies and herbs to help cleanse the body. Or you can just follow these lives with Jermaine. Jermaine will tell you how to be a part of Men-talrolladek.
For everybody that wants to participate within a live, send me a friend request at King Jermaine on Facebook. Follow me on IG at Men-talrolladek, YouTube Men-talrolladek, Twitter Men-talrolladek. And with this, we conclude another session of Rich. Let them know what it is.
This book sessions of Beyond Thought, the book that I wrote entitled Beyond Thought, Living Without Hurt and Depression. Depression doesn't discriminate, you know. Call me at 702-610-0687 or email me if you want to discuss your depression. I do lectures and I help people with depression, diet, and this is part of my book also.
And don't worry, just be happy. Kings, queens, love is love. I love y'all.
Positive energy out.